The morning sun rose over Seoul, but Kim Tae-ho could not see it through the thick metal dome that now covered the city. 3 years had passed since the aliens came, and Earth looked nothing like the home he remembered. Gray ships floated in the sky like giant metal clouds, blocking out the light and casting shadows over everything below. Tae-ho stood at the window of his office, wearing the blue uniform that marked him as a human officer in the alien fleet. The uniform felt heavy on his shoulders, not because of its weight, but because of what it meant. He was Admiral Kim Tae-ho now, but only because the real admirals were dead, all of them except one, and she was gone too. Admiral Lee Hana had been the best of them all. Smart, brave, and never willing to give up even when things looked impossible. Tae-ho had learned everything from her during the war. He remembered her last words over the radio before her ship exploded. "Tell them we never surrendered. Tell them we will be back." But there was no coming back from what happened at Luna Station. The aliens had ships that could move faster than anything humans built. Their weapons could cut through human armor like paper. When Admiral Hana's ship crashed into their biggest warship, it barely left a scratch. The explosion lit up space for a few seconds, and then she was gone forever. A knock on his door brought Tae-ho back to the present. "Come in," he said. Governor Ryu Seon-ho entered the room. He was a thin man with gray hair and cold eyes. Before the war, he had been a politician. Now he ran Earth for the aliens, and he did it well. Too well, Tae-ho thought. "Admiral," Seon-ho said with a slight bow, "the hegemony requires more workers for the Mars mines. We need to send another 1,000 people next week." Tae-ho's hands tightened into fists behind his back, but his face stayed calm. "Which cities?" he asked. "Busan and Incheon. The aliens want young, strong workers. They don't care about families." Seon-ho's voice had no feeling in it, as if he was talking about moving boxes instead of people. "I understand," Tae-ho said, though every word hurt to speak. After Seon-ho left, Tae-ho sat down at his desk and looked at the reports. Human ships were now used to carry rocks and metal from the asteroid belt to alien factories. Human pilots flew where they were told and asked no questions. The resistance groups that still fought were getting smaller every month. Somewhere in the asteroid belt, Captain Choi Min-ho was probably planning another attack that would do little damage. His ship, the Iron Dawn, was one of the last free human vessels. Min-ho was brave but not smart enough to see that his small fights changed nothing. The aliens had won completely. Tae-ho picked up a photo from his desk. It showed him and Admiral Hana during better times before the war, when they thought human technology could match anything the universe threw at them. How wrong they had been. The aliens called themselves the hegemony, 7 different species that had joined together to rule the galaxy. They had fought wars for thousands of years and conquered hundreds of worlds. Earth was just another prize to them, and humans were just another defeated species. Supreme Commander Kang Do-yeon led the hegemony forces on Earth. He was not human, but he looked almost like one except for his silver skin and black eyes. Tae-ho had met him only once during the surrender ceremony. Do-yeon had spoken perfect Korean and told Tae-ho that resistance was pointless. "Your species learns quickly," he had said. "Learn to serve and you will survive." Tae-ho's computer beeped with a new message. It was from Captain Park Ji-won, who worked in the intelligence office. The message was short. "Need to meet. Old coffee shop on Myeongdong. On hour." Ji-won had been Admiral Hana's intelligence officer during the war. Now she worked for the occupation government, gathering information about resistance groups. Tae-ho wondered sometimes if she was still loyal to humanity, or if she had truly changed sides like so many others. An hour later, Tae-ho walked through the streets of Seoul. The city was quieter than it used to be. Many people had been sent to work camps on other planets. Those who remained kept their heads down and spoke in whispers. Alien soldiers walked the streets in groups, their weapons always ready. The coffee shop was nearly empty. Ji-won sat in the back corner wearing civilian clothes. She was a small woman with short black hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. When Tae-ho sat down across from her, she did not smile. "They are planning something big," she said quietly. "I have seen reports about increased patrols in the outer system. Ships are being moved to sectors that were empty before." "What kind of ships?" Tae-ho asked. "Warships, fast ones, like they are hunting for something." Ji-won leaned forward. "There have been strange signals, too. Encrypted transmissions that our people cannot read." Tae-ho frowned. The resistance groups were too small to worry the aliens this much. "Maybe it is just training exercises." "No," Ji-won said. "This is different. Commander Do-hyun has been personally reviewing the patrol reports. He never does that unless something important is happening. They sat in silence for a moment, drinking coffee that tasted like water. Everything tasted different since the aliens came. They had changed the air, the water, even the food to suit their needs. Do you ever think about her? Ji-won asked suddenly. Taeho did not need to ask who she meant. Every day. She would not have given up, Ji-won said. Even now, even after everything, she would still be fighting. She is dead, Ji-won. We all saw her ship explode. Did we? Ji-won's eyes were intense now. We saw an explosion. We saw the reports. But did anyone ever find her body? Did anyone ever find pieces of her ship? Taeho started to answer, then stopped. He had never thought about it before. In the chaos after the battle, there had been no time to search for survivors. The aliens had demanded immediate surrender, and the remaining human forces had been too broken to argue. What are you saying? He asked. Ji-won stood up to leave. I am saying that Admiral Lee Hana was the smartest person any of us ever knew. And smart people do not die easily. She walked away, leaving Taeho alone with his thoughts. Outside the window, alien ships continued their patrol of the gray sky. But for the first time in 3 years, Taeho began to wonder if the war was really over. Park Ji-won sat alone in her small apartment, staring at the computer screen that glowed in the darkness. The message had arrived 3 hours ago through channels she thought were dead forever. The encryption was perfect, the signature authentic, and the content impossible. Admiral Lee Hana was supposed to be dead. Ji-won had watched the recordings of the battle at Luna Station dozens of times. She had seen the Defiant Star explode in a bright flash of white light. She had read the reports that confirmed no survivors. She had even attended the memorial service where they honored the fallen admiral with an empty coffin. But the message on her screen carried Hana's personal quantum encryption. Only one person in the universe knew those codes, and that person had supposedly died 3 years ago. The message was simple: coordinates to a location in the asteroid belt, followed by a single word. Remember, Ji-won closed her eyes and tried to think. The coordinates pointed to Sector 77 Alpha, a region that had been bombed flat by hegemony plasma cannons during the final stages of the war. Nothing could survive there now. The radiation alone would kill any human in minutes, yet the message was real. Ji-won had checked and double-checked the encryption. Either Admiral Hana was alive or someone had access to security codes that should have been impossible to break. Across the city, Admiral Kim Taeho lay awake in his bed, thinking about his conversation with Ji-won. The coffee shop meeting had planted a seed of doubt in his mind that grew stronger every hour. He thought about all the times during the war when Admiral Hana had surprised everyone with impossible plans that somehow worked. Taeho got up and walked to his computer. Using his access codes, he pulled up the official reports from the Luna Station battle. For 3 years, he had avoided reading them. The memories were too painful, but now he forced himself to look at every detail. The Defiant Star had been Admiral Hana's flagship, a heavy cruiser with experimental armor and weapons. According to the reports, the ship had suffered critical damage and crashed into the hegemony dreadnought Voidhammer. The explosion had destroyed both ships completely, but as Taeho read deeper, he found something strange. The explosion had been nuclear, not antimatter. The Defiant Star carried antimatter weapons that should have made a much bigger blast. Why had only the nuclear warheads exploded? In the asteroid belt, Captain Choi Minho guided his ship Iron Dawn through the rocky maze of debris. His crew was small but loyal. They had been fighting the aliens for 3 years with hit-and-run attacks that barely scratched the enemy. Captain, called out Yoon Nari from her engineering station, I am picking up strange signals from the outer system. Nari was young but brilliant. She had joined the resistance after the aliens destroyed her home city of Daegu. Her specialty was alien technology, and she had kept the Iron Dawn running with spare parts and stolen equipment. What kind of signals? Minho asked. Hegemony military traffic, lots of it. They are moving ships to sectors that have been empty since the war ended. Nari's fingers flew over her controls. Look at this pattern. 3 destroyer squadrons, 2 cruiser groups, and a battleship, all heading to the same general area. Minho studied the display. The alien ships were converging on a region near the outer edge of the asteroid belt. What is out there? Nothing, according to our maps. The area was sterilized during the war. No bases, no mining operations, no reason for anyone to go there. Unless they are looking for something, Minho said quietly. On Earth, Governor Ryu Seonho received an encrypted message from Supreme Commander Kang Do-yoon. The alien leader rarely contacted him directly, which made this communication especially important. Governor, the message began in perfect Korean. Our long-range sensors have detected unusual activity in the outer system. Increase security measures immediately. Double the patrols around Earth and the Moon. Any unauthorized ship movements are to be reported directly to me. Seonho frowned as he read the message. What could make the aliens so nervous? They had complete control of the solar system. Human resistance was almost gone. What could they possibly be afraid of? He typed a response confirming the new orders, but his mind was troubled. In 3 years of occupation, he had never seen the hegemony forces act with such urgency. Meanwhile, Yoon Nari made a discovery that would change everything. While analyzing captured alien equipment, she found something hidden deep in the quantum computer cores. It was a backdoor, a weakness that the aliens did not know existed. Captain, she called to Minho, you need to see this. She showed him lines of code that meant nothing to most people but everything to her. Every hegemony ship has the same quantum computing system. They are all connected through subspace links for coordination and communication. So if someone could access one ship's computer with the right codes, they could potentially access all of them. The entire hegemony fleet could be controlled by a single infiltration point. Minho stared at the display. That is impossible. The processing power required would be enormous. Yes, Nari agreed. You would need a quantum AI system more advanced than anything humans have ever built. Plus, you would need to know exactly how hegemony encryption works. We do not have technology like that. No, Nari said thoughtfully. But Admiral Hana was working on quantum AI research before the war. And she captured several alien ships during the fighting. Back in her apartment, Ji-won made her decision. The coordinates in the message were calling to her like a voice from the grave. She began making careful preparations for a journey that could get her killed. Using her position in the intelligence office, she requisitioned a small scout ship for a routine patrol mission in the inner asteroid belt. She loaded it with supplies and extra fuel tanks. If Admiral Hana was somehow alive in that dead sector, Ji-won would find her. The night before her departure, Ji-won sent a coded message to Admiral Taeho. It contained only the coordinates from Hana's transmission and a single question. Do you remember what she taught us about impossible plans? Taeho received the message while reviewing the next day's deportation lists. Another 1,000 humans would be sent to the work camps on Mars. Children separated from parents, families torn apart, all to feed the alien war machine. He looked at the coordinates and felt his heart race. Sector 77 Alpha, the place where heroes went to die. But Admiral Hana had taught him that sometimes the best hiding place was where no one thought to look. She had also taught him that the difference between a good plan and a great plan was whether your enemy could imagine you trying it. 3 years ago, when all hope seemed lost, Admiral Lee Hana had done something that no one expected. She had crashed her ship into an enemy dreadnought in what looked like a suicide attack. But what if it had not been suicide? What if it had been the greatest magic trick in human history? Taeho closed his eyes and tried to remember Hana's exact words during their last conversation. She had been planning something secret, something she could not tell even her most trusted officers. When this is over, she had said, the war will really begin. At the time, he had thought she meant the occupation and resistance. Now he wondered if she had meant something else entirely. In the darkness of space, alien patrol ships moved through the asteroid belt like hunting wolves. They were looking for something their commanders could not name but feared to find. And in a small scout ship flying toward coordinates that should lead only to death, Park Ji-won prepared to discover whether the greatest admiral in human history had managed to do the impossible one more time. Park Ji-won's scout ship drifted through the asteroid field like a ghost. Her instruments showed nothing but radiation and floating rocks where the hegemony had bombed the area flat 3 years ago. According to every scan, this region was completely dead. But Admiral Hana's coordinates led her deeper into the field, toward an asteroid that looked like all the others. As Ji-won approached, her ship suddenly detected a weak signal, a docking beacon, hidden so well that only someone with the exact frequency could find it. The asteroid opened like a flower. Metal panels slid aside to reveal a hidden bay large enough for her small ship. As soon as she docked, the panels closed again. sealing them both inside artificial atmosphere and gravity. Jiwan stepped out of her ship with her hand on her weapon. The bay was clean and well lit, clearly inhabited. But by whom? "Hello, Jiwan," the voice came from behind her. Jiwan spun around and nearly fell over from shock. Standing in the doorway was Admiral Lee Hana, alive but changed. Her left arm was mechanical, replaced from the elbow down. Scars covered the right side of her face where burns had healed badly. But her eyes were the same sharp intelligence that Jiwan remembered. "Admiral?" Jiwan could barely speak. "How are you alive?" "The same way you taught me to fake deaths in intelligence operations," Hana said with a slight smile. "Except mine had to fool aliens with very good sensors." Hana led Jiwan through corridors carved from solid rock. The asteroid had been hollowed out and turned into a sophisticated base. They passed rooms full of equipment, workshops where humans and robots worked together, and computer centers humming with activity. "The Defiant Star did crash into the Void Hammer," Hana explained as they walked. "But 30 seconds before impact I launched myself in a modified escape pod. The explosion covered my departure and the radiation in this sector has hidden me ever since." "For 3 years?" Jiwan could not believe what she was seeing. "What have you been doing all this time?" "Building the weapon that will win the war." They entered a vast chamber at the asteroid's center. Banks of quantum computers filled the space, their lights blinking in complex patterns. Holographic displays showed star maps, ship movements, and streams of data that moved too fast for human eyes to follow. "This is Phoenix Protocol," Hana said proudly, "a quantum AI network designed to infiltrate and control every hegemony system in the solar system." Jiwan stared at the machines. "How is this possible? We never had technology like this. We do now. I spent 3 years studying captured alien equipment and combining it with human innovations. The hegemony's greatest strength is also their weakness. All their ships and stations are connected through quantum links for coordination. Phoenix Protocol can use those same links to take control, but the processing power required is enormous," Hana agreed. "That's why I needed 3 years to build it, and why I had to let the occupation continue while I worked." Jiwan felt cold anger rising in her chest. "You let millions of people suffer while you hid in here?" "I let them suffer to save billions more." Hana's voice was hard as steel. "If I had revealed myself earlier, the hegemony would have found this place and destroyed everything. The resistance needed to be broken and scattered, so the aliens would not pay attention to them while I prepared. People died believing you were gone. People died believing in human surrender. That was necessary for my plan to work." Hana turned to face Jiwan directly. "I know you think I am a monster. You may be right, but I am the monster who will give humanity its freedom back." She showed Jiwan holographic displays of the plan. Phoenix Protocol had already begun infiltrating hegemony systems through captured equipment that the aliens thought was secure. Once activated, it would take control of their entire fleet simultaneously. "But I need help to finish it," Hana continued. "Admiral Taeho must be brought into the conspiracy. His position gives him access to fleet movements and security codes. Captain Minho's ships are needed for coordination across the system, and Engineer Nari's expertise with alien technology is crucial for the final implementation. They will never forgive you for hiding while people suffered. They don't have to forgive me. They just have to help me win." On Earth, Admiral Kim Taeho received new orders from Supreme Commander Kang Do-hyun. The alien leader was clearly worried about something. Ship patrols had doubled, and security around important installations had been increased. "Admiral," Do-hyun said during their meeting, "human resistance activity has been detected in the outer system. I want you to personally oversee the search operations." Taeho kept his face calm while his mind raced. "What kind of activity?" "Communications intercepts and unexplained equipment failures. Nothing major yet, but patterns suggest coordination between multiple cells." Do-hyun's black eyes stared at Taeho. "I trust you understand the importance of eliminating any organized resistance before it can grow." "Of course, Commander. I will handle this personally." After the meeting, Taeho returned to his office with troubled thoughts. If there really was organized resistance activity, why had he not been informed? His intelligence network should have detected something, unless the resistance was hiding from him too. That evening, Taeho found another coded message from Jiwan on his personal computer. This one contained an address and a time, nothing else. The address led to an abandoned warehouse in the ruins of Gangnam District. The area had been bombed during the war and never rebuilt. Taeho arrived at the specified time, wondering if he was walking into a trap. Jiwon was waiting for him in the shadows. "Admiral," she said formally, "I have something to show you." She led him to a hidden room where a quantum communicator had been set up. The screen activated and Admiral Lee Hana appeared as a hologram. Taeho nearly fell backward in shock. "Hana, but you're—" "How are you?" "Hello, old friend," Hana said. Her scarred face was serious but not unkind. "I know this is difficult to understand. Let me explain." For the next hour, Hana told Taeho everything. The faked death, the hidden base, the 3 years of preparation and the weapon that would turn the aliens' technology against them. Taeho listened in growing amazement and horror. "You let us think you were dead," he said finally. "You let us surrender. You let humanity be enslaved." "I let humanity appear to be enslaved," Hana corrected. "There is a difference. The occupation was always temporary. The hegemony's defeat will be permanent. How can you be so sure your plan will work?" "Because I know something the aliens don't. Human unpredictability is not a weakness to be overcome. It is a strength to be used. They expect us to fight them with their own methods, using their own logic. They cannot imagine us turning their greatest advantage into our weapon." Taeho struggled with anger and hope fighting in his chest. "What do you need from me?" "Fleet deployment information, security codes, and when the time comes, your help in positioning hegemony ships where Phoenix Protocol can reach them most effectively. If you are wrong, if this fails, millions more will die. If I do nothing, billions will die when the hegemony decides humans are too troublesome to keep alive." Hana's image leaned forward. "Governor Ryu received new orders today. Prepared deportation lists for Earth's major cities. The aliens are planning to remove humans from Earth entirely." Taeho felt ice in his veins. "How do you know that?" "Because Phoenix Protocol is already inside their communication systems. I see everything they do and they don't even know it." Hana's expression softened slightly. "I know I'm asking you to trust someone who has already lied to you. But I am also asking you to trust the person who taught you that impossible plans sometimes work." On his ship in the asteroid belt, Captain Choi Minho received an encrypted message that changed his understanding of everything. The message contained proof that Admiral Hana was alive, along with coordinates for a meeting that would either save humanity or destroy what remained of hope. Engineer Yoon Nari looked at the same message on her screen and felt her hands shake. The greatest military mind in human history was calling for help. After 3 years of small victories and growing despair, maybe the real war was finally about to begin. And in his office on the Hegemony Command Station, Supreme Commander Kang Do-yeon studied reports of equipment failures and communication glitches across his fleet. Something was happening. Something his sensors could not detect and his logic could not explain. For the first time since conquering Earth, he began to wonder if humans might be more dangerous than he had believed. Admiral Lee Hana stood before the main control panel of Phoenix Protocol, her mechanical hand moving across holographic controls with practiced precision. Around her, the quantum computers hummed with increasing intensity as the AI network prepared to wake up fully. "All systems show green," reported Engineer Yoon Nari from her position at the technical station. She had arrived at the hidden asteroid base 2 days ago, still amazed to find her dead admiral very much alive. The infiltration pathways are established across 70% of hegemony systems. Captain Minho's ships are in position, added Park Ji-won, monitoring communications from resistance cells across the solar system. Admiral Taeho has confirmed that the main hegemony battle fleet is concentrated around Earth, exactly where we need them. Hana nodded, her scarred face showing no emotion. For 3 years she had planned this moment. Every calculation, every sacrifice, every hidden preparation had led to this single point in time when humanity would either win its freedom or lose everything. "Activate Phoenix Protocol," she commanded. The quantum computers flared to life with blinding light. Across the solar system, hidden transmitters that had been secretly placed on captured alien equipment began broadcasting. The AI network spread through hegemony systems like invisible fire, finding every quantum link and exploiting every security weakness. On Earth, Admiral Kim Taeho felt his hands shake as he watched his computer screen. The fleet deployment orders he had sent to hegemony ships were being followed perfectly. The alien commanders trusted him completely after 3 years of loyal service. They had no idea they were moving their vessels into a carefully planned trap. "Admiral," his aide reported, "Commander Do-yun requests an immediate meeting. There are system malfunctions being reported across multiple ships." Tiho kept his voice steady. "Tell the commander I will be there shortly, and send word to all human personnel to report to their emergency stations for a surprise drill." The aide left quickly. Tejo allowed himself a small smile. The emergency drill was actually a coded message to human crew members that the real war was about to begin. Those who remained loyal to humanity would know what to do. Those who had truly joined the aliens would learn the price of betrayal. In space around Jupiter, 3 hegemony dreadnoughts suddenly found their control systems refusing orders. The massive warships began turning away from their patrol routes, their weapons powering down despite frantic commands from their crews. Captain Choi Minho watched from the bridge of Iron Dawn as the alien ships drifted helplessly. "Nari was right," he said in amazement. "Their own computers are turning against them. All resistance ships, this is Phoenix Base," came Admiral Hana's voice over the communicator. "Begin liberation operations immediately. Target priorities are communication arrays and command centers. Remember, we want to capture ships intact when possible." Minho grinned fiercely. After 3 years of running and hiding, it felt incredible to go on the attack. "You heard the Admiral," he told his crew. "Let's go save our people." The Iron Dawn accelerated toward the nearest hegemony station, where confused alien guards were trying to understand why their automated defenses had stopped working. On Mars, the human workers in the mining camps looked up as alarms began wailing across the facility. For a moment, they thought it was another punishment drill. Then the doors to their barracks unlocked, and the alien guards' weapons stopped functioning. "This is Admiral Lee Hana of the Human Liberation Fleet," her voice echoed from the camp's communication system. "All human personnel, you are hereby ordered to take control of your facilities. The period of occupation is over." The prisoners stared at each other in disbelief. Admiral Hana was supposed to be dead, but as alien guards ran in panic from malfunctioning equipment, hope began to replace despair. In the command center of the main hegemony station orbiting Earth, Supreme Commander Kang Do-yun watched his carefully ordered universe fall apart. Ship after ship reported system failures. Communication networks were carrying messages he had not authorized. Automated defense systems were targeting his own forces. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his technical officers. "Our quantum encryption is unbreakable. Our systems are isolated from external networks." "Sir," one of his aides reported with fear in his voice, "we are receiving a transmission on all frequencies. It appears to be from Admiral Lee Hana. That is impossible. The human admiral died 3 years ago. Nevertheless, sir, she is requesting immediate communication with you." Do-hyun's silver skin turned pale. "Put her through." The main screen activated, showing a human woman with scars covering half her face. Her eyes held the cold intelligence of a predator who had finally cornered her prey. "Commander Do-hyun," Admiral Hana said calmly, "I believe we have some matters to discuss. You are supposed to be dead. Reports of my death were greatly exaggerated, but reports of your defeat will be completely accurate." Hana's expression showed no mercy. "I am offering you one chance to surrender your forces and leave this solar system peacefully." Do-hyun felt rage building in his chest. "You are in no position to make demands, human. Even if you have somehow infiltrated our systems, you lack the military strength to—" His words were cut off as the station's lights dimmed. Emergency power activated and alarms began sounding throughout the facility. "I control your life support systems now," Hana said pleasantly. "I control your weapons, your navigation, your communications. Your ships are flying where I tell them to fly. Your soldiers' equipment works only when I allow it to work. In approximately 10 minutes, your main battle fleet will have their weapons systems turned on each other, unless they receive my command codes." The alien commander stared at the screen in growing horror. "What do you want?" "I want you to understand something that you failed to learn during your occupation of Earth. Humans do not surrender. We adapt, we wait, we learn, and then we take everything." Across the solar system, Phoenix Protocol completed its infiltration of hegemony networks. Alien ships found themselves locked out of their own computers. Space stations lost control of their automated systems. The technology that had made the hegemony invincible was now their greatest weakness. Governor Ryu Seonho sat in his office on Earth, watching reports of chaos flooding in from across the planet. Human resistance fighters were emerging from hiding, led by people who should have been in prison camps. Alien garrisons were surrendering as their equipment refused to function. His door burst open, and Park Ji-won entered with a squad of human soldiers. "Governor," she said formally, "you are under arrest for collaboration with enemy forces and crimes against humanity." Seon-ho tried to activate his emergency communicator, but the device was dead. He looked at the soldiers surrounding him and realized that his 3 years of power were over. "The aliens will not let this stand," he said desperately. "They will send reinforcements from other systems. They will destroy Earth rather than lose it." "Let them try," Ji-won replied. "Admiral Hana has prepared for that possibility too." In his underground command bunker, Admiral Taeho coordinated the capture of hegemony facilities across Earth. The aliens had been so confident in their technological superiority that they had never prepared for the possibility of their own systems being turned against them. "Admiral," one of his officers reported, "we have confirmed capture of the Seoul, Tokyo, and New York command centers. Human forces are in control of all major cities." "Excellent. What about the orbital platforms?" "Phoenix Protocol has locked down their weapon systems. The aliens cannot target Earth even if they wanted to." Taeho felt a weight lifting from his shoulders that had been there for 3 years. They were actually winning. Admiral Hana's impossible plan was working. On her hidden asteroid base, Admiral Hana watched holographic displays showing the progress of liberation operations across the solar system. Ship after ship, station after station, facility after facility fell under human control, as Phoenix Protocol demonstrated its complete dominance over alien technology. "Admiral," Yoon Nari called out, "I am detecting new signals from outside the solar system. Long-range hegemony communications. What are they saying?" "They are calling for reinforcements. Multiple battle fleets are being dispatched to retake Earth." Hana smiled coldly. "Good, let them come. Phoenix Protocol will be waiting for them too." She turned to address her staff. "Prepare for Phase 2 of the liberation. We have proven that human ingenuity can defeat alien technology. Now we must prove that human determination can defeat alien numbers." The war was far from over, but for the first time in 3 years, humanity was fighting to win instead of simply fighting to survive. And Admiral Lee Hana, the woman who was supposed to be dead, stood ready to finish what the aliens had started. The final phase of Phoenix Protocol activated with the fury of a solar storm. Across the entire solar system, hegemony ships found their computer systems completely beyond their control. Navigation computers plotted courses their crews never ordered. Weapon systems targeted their own fleetmates. Life support systems shut down in sections where alien officers worked, while maintaining perfect conditions for human crew members. Admiral Lee Hana emerged from her hidden asteroid base aboard her new flagship, the Phoenix Rising. The massive vessel had been built in secret over 3 years, combining the best human engineering with captured alien technology. Its hull gleamed with armor that could resist any weapon the hegemony possessed, while its guns could punch through any defense they had. "All human vessels, this is Admiral Hana." Her voice echoed across every communication frequency in the solar system. "Today we take back our home. Today we show the galaxy that humanity bows to no one." Behind her flagship came a fleet of ghost ships, captured hegemony vessels now flying under human command. Each ship bore the scars of the original war, but also the modifications that made them superior to their original design. Human creativity had taken alien efficiency and made it something the hegemony had never imagined. Captain Choi Minho guided his ship Iron Dawn through the space around Mars, watching in amazement as 3 hegemony destroyers fired their weapons at each other in mechanical confusion. Their computer systems, completely controlled by Phoenix Protocol, were following targeting solutions that made no sense to their crews. "Captain," called out Engineer Yoon Nari from her station, "I am reading massive energy signatures from the direction of Earth. It looks like the main hegemony battle fleet is trying to break free of Phoenix Protocol's control. Can they do it?" "Not without shutting down their computer systems entirely. And if they do that, their ships become helpless metal boxes floating in space." Minho smiled grimly. Admiral Hana had created the perfect trap. The aliens could fight Phoenix Protocol and lose their technological advantages, or they could try to operate without computers and lose everything else. On Earth, Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood on the bridge of the captured Hegemony command station. Through the massive windows he could see the planet below him, free of alien ships for the first time in 3 years. Cities that had been dark under occupation were lighting up as power was restored. Communication networks that had been restricted were carrying messages of joy and hope across the globe. "Admiral," his communications officer reported.
"Supreme Commander Do-hyun is requesting immediate negotiation."
"He says he is prepared to discuss terms." "Tell him he can discuss terms with Admiral Hana. She outranks me and she outranks him too." The young officer looked confused. "What should I tell him about the command structure?" Taeho's smile was cold as winter. "Tell him that humanity never accepted surrender. We were just waiting for the right moment to take everything back." In the depths of space near Jupiter, Supreme Commander Kang Do-hyun watched his empire crumble around him. The massive Hegemony dreadnought Eternal Conquest had been his flagship for 20 years of victories across the galaxy. Now it drifted helplessly as its computer systems obeyed a human admiral instead of him. "Status report," he demanded of his remaining officers. "Sir, 70% of our fleet is under complete computer control by the human AI. The remaining ships have shut down their main systems to avoid infiltration, but they are operating on emergency power only. What about reinforcements from the outer systems? The first battle group will arrive in 6 hours." "But sir," the officer hesitated. "Long-range scans show that several of those ships are also showing signs of computer malfunction. The human virus appears to be spreading through our quantum networks faster than we can contain it." Do-hyun felt something he had not experienced in decades. Fear. The Hegemony had conquered hundreds of worlds using their technological superiority, but now that same technology was being used against them by a species they had dismissed as primitive. "Open a channel to the human admiral," he ordered. Admiral Hana's scarred face appeared on his screen moments later. She was standing on the bridge of a ship that looked like it had been built in the fires of hell and emerged stronger than anything the Hegemony had ever created. "Commander Do-hyun," she said with calm politeness, "are you ready to discuss surrender terms?" "You cannot maintain control of our systems indefinitely," Do-hyun replied, trying to project confidence he no longer felt. "Our technological specialists will find a way to counter your infiltration. Perhaps. But can you do it before your reinforcement fleets arrive and are also taken over by Phoenix Protocol? Can you do it before your homeworlds receive visits from human ships carrying weapons you helped us perfect?" Do-hyun's silver skin turned pale. "You would not dare attack Hegemony core worlds. Commander, 3 years ago you invaded our home and enslaved our people. You destroyed our cities and scattered our families across the galaxy. Did you think we would forget? Did you think we would forgive?" Hana's voice grew cold as ice. "I am offering you the same choice you offered us. Submit or be destroyed. The Hegemony Council will never accept human terms. Then the Hegemony Council will cease to exist. Phoenix Protocol is already spreading beyond this solar system through your own communication networks. Every ship you send to attack us becomes part of our fleet. Every base you use to coordinate against us becomes our base. Your greatest strength has become your greatest weakness." On Mars, human workers who had been slaves that morning now stood as the guards of alien prisoners. The mining camps had been transformed into detention centers where former oppressors sat behind the same fences that had once held humans. Governor Ryu Siono found himself in a cell next to a Hegemony officer who had run the facility. The alien looked at him with disgust. "Your own species imprisoned you, collaborator. How does it feel to be betrayed by those you served?" Siono looked through the fence at the humans celebrating their freedom in the distance. "I was never betrayed," he said quietly. "I was always exactly what they knew I was. The only question was whether they would forgive me for it." Park Ji-won appeared outside his cell, carrying a datapad with official documents. "Governor Seonho, you have been charged with treason, collaboration with enemy forces, and crimes against humanity. Your trial will begin next week. Will it be a fair trial?" he asked. "Fairer than any you gave to resistance fighters," she replied. "Admiral Hana believes in justice, not revenge. But justice for your crimes may feel like revenge to you." In the command center of Phoenix Base, Engineer Yoon Nari monitored the spread of Phoenix Protocol across the galaxy. The AI network was moving through Hegemony communication systems like a digital plague, turning every connected device into a weapon against its creators. "Admiral," she reported to Hana, "I am receiving signals from other star systems. Human colonies that we thought were destroyed are sending messages. They are still alive. And Phoenix Protocol is reaching them through captured hegemony equipment. Admiral Hana felt something she had not allowed herself to feel in 3 years. Hope that went beyond mere survival. How many colonies? At least 40 confirmed so far. And Admiral. Some of them report that they have been fighting guerrilla wars against local hegemony forces for years. They never surrendered either. Hana closed her eyes for a moment, thinking of all the humans who had suffered and died while she built her weapon in secret. Their sacrifice had not been in vain. Humanity was not just surviving, it was winning. Send word to all colonies, she ordered. The Earth fleet is coming. Hold your positions and prepare for liberation. The final battle of the Liberation War took place not with guns and explosions, but with mathematics and logic. Phoenix Protocol completed its infiltration of every hegemony system within range, turning their own fleet into humanity's greatest weapon. Ships that had bombarded Earth 3 years ago now flew in formation behind Admiral Hana's flagship. Supreme Commander Do-hyun made his final transmission from the bridge of his crippled dreadnought. It was not a surrender, but a warning sent to distant hegemony worlds. To all council members and fleet commanders beyond the Sol system, his message began. Humanity is not the primitive species we believed them to be. They have proven capable of turning our own technology against us in ways our strategists never anticipated. They show no mercy to those who oppose them, but they show honor to those who surrender with dignity. He paused, looking at the human ships surrounding his vessel. I recommend immediate withdrawal from all human territories and the establishment of a formal treaty recognizing their sovereignty. The alternative is the complete destruction of our technological infrastructure by an enemy who understands our weaknesses better than we do. Do-hyun ended the transmission and walked to the center of his bridge. A moment later, Admiral Hana's image appeared before him as a hologram. Your final message was wise, Commander, she said. You may keep your personal ship and crew for the journey home. Consider it a gift from humanity to the hegemony. When you reach your home worlds, tell them what you learned here. And what should I tell them? Admiral Hana smiled, and for the first time it was not a cold expression but something almost warm. Tell them that humans do not make good slaves. We make terrible enemies.